My top 10 favourite Team Rocket solos and the stories behind them. I've not uploaded any challenge videos for a few days, and that's because I've completed all the solo challenges I had planned for the current Team Rocket leaders, so I thought I might as well make a video ranking my favourite ones. This list is based on difficulty of the challenge itself, uniqueness, how difficult it was to find the lineup, and a number of other factors that contributed. Number 10. Drapion Vs Sierra. This challenge makes the list because it was a TM nightmare. Bear in mind that this challenge was well before Go Battle League came out, so charge TMs in particular were scarce. I thought of this challenge and found the perfect combination for it on a community day, but after using all 11 of my charged TMs and even doing 2 tier 4 raids and gaining 3 more, I still couldn't get Felstinger. It just kept cycling between Crunch and Sludge Bomb. It wasn't until the following weekend that I was actually able to get Felstinger on my Drapion. Drapion is one of very few Pokemon to have 4 different fast moves, so it took even more fast TMs to get Infestation. Luckily, because most Pokemon only have 2 fast moves, I wasn't short on fast TMs. The challenge itself wasn't too difficult, but it was a fairly unique challenge at the time. Power Up Punch was a very common charge move for Team Rocket challenges, but I hadn't seen anyone try a Pokemon with Felstinger. Number 9. Vespiquen Vs Cliff. Vespiquen was the first Pokemon I was able to use to solo Cliff's pincer lineup. Cliff had been around for months and almost definitely would have been gone by the time I thought to use Vespiquen if it wasn't for COVID-19 putting a pause on any lineup changes for the Team Rocket leaders. I had used Vespiquen in a couple challenge videos prior to this one, at lower CPs of 250 and 750. Fury Cutter has to be my favourite fast move to use against the Team Rocket leaders. Because it's a one-turn move, it's super easy to time charge moves just right so that you avoid taking damage from the leader's Pokemon. The combination of Fury Cutter and Felstinger is an extremely spammy combo that boosts your attack with each use. Combined with X-Scissor, which is also a 35 energy move, makes it the perfect combo for taking down entire lineups. Vespiquen also has great bulk, and its double resistance to fighting type moves from both Pinsir and Electivire made it the perfect candidate to take down Cliff, despite only dealing super effective damage against the Tyranitar. I ended up beating Cliff on the first attempt, just because of how easy it is to use Fury Cutter and Felstinger. Despite not undercharging enough on the final X-Scissor against Electivire, I was still able to just barely scrape past the Tyranitar at the end. Number 8. Obstagoon Vs Arlo. Obstagoon is a new Galarian evolution that was recently added to the game. It has received a lot of attention in the PvP community due to its unique normal and dark typing and great moveset. It is one of the few Pokemon that can beat Giratina, Registeel and Cresselia in certain shield scenarios. I was certain that it would have some play against Mawile with Astonish, as it's triple resisted. It just needed to get a good moveset, which it certainly did. Counter, Night Slash and Cross Chop. Once I finally hatched a Galarian Zigzagoon, I was actually able to get the ideal combination at the first Arlo I found. As always, the difficult part of this challenge was getting 2 boosts with Night Slash, but once I got the second boost early enough in the challenge, it was fairly straightforward. I was very fortunate to squeeze in 3 counters between charge moves several times against the Steelix, which certainly helped. Number 7. Zangoose Vs Arlo. Yet another normal type with Night Slash as one of its charge moves, this time pairing with Shadow Claw in close combat. When I had the idea to use Zangoose against Arlo, I didn't actually have a Zangoose in my storage. Zangoose isn't the rarest spawn in London, but there was an event going on at the time, so pretty much all Zangoose spawns had been replaced by event Pokemon. After not finding one in the wild, I eventually traded for a Zangoose, and despite its terrible IVs, I powered it up and gave it a second move without hesitation. It took a few days to find the right combo with Arlo, but once I found it, it was again just a case of getting the boosts early. Zangoose is very squishy though, so squishy in fact that it couldn't tank a single fire spin from Charizard after getting through the Mawile, so I had to be very efficient with my energy. Again, I relied on squeezing in 3 Shadow Claws between each charge move against the Charizard. Number 6. Jumpluff Vs Cliff. This is one of only 2 challenges on this list that involve the fast move glitch. For those that don't know what I'm talking about, the fast move glitch was accidentally introduced into the game at the same time overtapping was reintroduced in PvP, and was only fixed recently. The glitch sped up the animation for 3 and 4 turn moves, making it easier to gain energy faster. With that being said, the unique thing about this challenge is that Jumpluff is the only Pokemon on this list that didn't use any attack boosting charge moves. I had to be extremely precise with my energy management in this challenge, because despite the insane energy generation of Bullet Seed combined with the fast move glitch, I had to use a 55 energy charge move to beat the second and third Pokemon. This is easily the hardest challenge on this list so far. Undercharging just the right amount against the Pinsir at the start so that I could get 3 Bullet Seeds in to KO the Pinsir was vital. I also relied on getting a defense drop against Swampert on the first charge move, otherwise the second charge move plus the Bullet Seeds wouldn't have been enough. The defense debuff is only a 1 in 10 chance, plus I had to do everything else perfectly in the build up, so it took a lot of attempts to do this challenge. Unlike many of my challenges, I didn't go searching for this combo. I randomly found the combo and then thought of what I could use against it. Otherwise it would definitely have featured higher on this list. Number 5. Drifblim Vs Cliff. This is the first thing I thought of when Cliff's lineup changed to Pinsir. Drifblim's Ghost and Flying typing allows it to triple resist fighting type moves. Plus it has access to Ominous Wind, a move that has a 1 in 10 chance to increase your attack and defense by 2 stages, as well as Icy Wind, the most overpowered charge move in the game that has a guaranteed debuff. It has the perfect tools to take on Cliff's lineup, provided Cliff has a Pinsir, Marowak and Torterra, and that Pinsir's fast move is Rock Smash. Despite depending on getting 2 Ominous Wind buffs within the first few charge moves, the most difficult part of this challenge was actually finding the right lineup. It's almost always Tyranitar in the back, so despite knowing it was possible, I wasn't even able to attempt it until just last week when I finally found the right combo, over 3 months after I'd started searching for it. It's worth mentioning that in the time it took me to find this combo, Giratina destroyed the Ultra and Master League, and Ominous Wind received a heavy nerf, increasing its energy and decreasing its damage, making this challenge even harder. Surprisingly, it only took 5 tries to get the double boost while still on the Pinsir, and I was able to beat it that same attempt. I did also do a Drifblim vs Cliff challenge with the fast move glitch, but with a T-Tar in the back, which kind of made this challenge less special, as I had technically already done it, otherwise maybe it would feature even higher on the list. Number 4. Gliscor Vs Sierra. This is the first challenge on this list where the Pokemon I used didn't resist the fast move of their lead Pokemon. Again, Gliscor is a Pokemon with access to Night Slash, but this time with Fury Cutter as a fast move. As mentioned already, Fury Cutter is my favourite and probably the easiest move to use in the game. I actually spent all of the last day of January searching for the right combo to do my Giovanni challenge for that month. I wasn't able to find the exact combo, so I settled with doing a different challenge. I was pretty disappointed that I wasn't able to find it, and it still took over an hour of standing in the rain to do, but the Sierra right next to it had the perfect combo for a different challenge I had planned. On my second attempt, I was able to get back-to-back boosts on my first and second charge moves. Being unfamiliar with how much damage everything would do, I randomly charged to a Great against the Kadabra, and luckily it was exactly the right amount so that I could farm it down and had enough energy for the Earthquake against the Houndoom. Number 3. Scrafty vs Arlo. I had seriously been looking forward to using Scrafty long before it was released in Pokemon Go. A lot of people were using Lucario and Medicham to take on the leaders, which was certainly good, but I believe Scrafty would be the first Pokemon to solo all 3 of the leaders at that time. Due to its unique typing, it would resist Stantler's Zen Headbutt, Absol's Psycho Cut, and double resist Absol's Snarl and Bagon's Bite. Unfortunately, the leaders changed their lineups before Scraggy and Scrafty were released. Arlo's new lineup looked very promising, given 2 of Mawil's fast moves were resisted by Scrafty. In practice, however, I found this challenge considerably harder than I was expecting. It relied on twice squeezing in an extra fast move against the Steelix, which isn't usually difficult, but it is completely random, and I was having terrible luck. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I explain it in my top 10 tips video. I needed to get past a Steelix with enough energy to hit 2 foul plays against a Scizor, hence the 2 extra fast moves versus Steelix were very necessary. This was the first Great League solo versus Arlo's Mawile lineup, so I was very pleased to finally get it done. Scrafty is probably my current favourite Pokemon in the game. It was on my GBL team that helped me reach rank 10 in Season 1, and I've since done many more challenges with Scrafty against the Rocket Leaders. Number 2. Omanyte Vs Arlo. This was my favourite challenge video up until very recently. I previously used a full team of shiny fossil Pokemon to beat Arlo's old Cypher lineup, and I realised with Omanyte having Mud Shot, Bubble Beam and Ancient Power, it would do even better than its evolution. Bagon was a fairly easy lead Pokemon to go against, especially with Ember for the fast move, as Omanyte double resists it. Whilst the challenge only took just over a handful of attempts, there were several other factors that made this challenge a lot harder. Firstly, I only had a really bad IV shiny Omanyte, and I couldn't convince myself that it was worthwhile powering up a non-shiny Omanyte. I had about 10 lucky friends at the time, but not a single one of them had a shiny Omanyte to trade. After a few weeks, I finally went lucky with someone that had an Omanyte that I could use. Now that I had the Pokemon, all I had to do was find the right lineup, which was actually extremely difficult. It probably took me another couple of weeks to find the right lineup, because similar to Cliff's lineup almost always having a T-Tar in the back, Arlo's lineups almost always have Scizor. For this challenge, I needed either a Dragonite or a Salamence. Fortunately, because it took so long to find, I had a lot of practice against the first 2 Pokemon in Arlo's lineup. At the time of trying this challenge, the only other Great League solo anyone had done was using a Lucario against Sierra. Funnily enough, I randomly found a Sierra in the morning and I was able to complete my first ever Great League solo using a Hitmonchan. And then in the evening after uni, I found the right Arlo lineup to complete my second ever Great League solo. This challenge was the most viewed video on my channel until recently, and it was also the challenge I was most proud of. I was so stoked to complete this challenge that I changed my YouTube profile picture to the Omanyte from this battle, and I decided to make a Twitter account to help promote my challenge videos. A friend of mine also posted the video to a London Facebook group, and whilst there were some positive comments, there were also some really funny hate comments, including this one. My guess is that he didn't watch the video and he probably has no idea what an Omanyte is, but in my mind, jealousy is the ultimate compliment. Number 1. Smeargle Vs Sierra. It was pretty obvious what was going to be number 1. This is not only the most impressive challenge I've ever done, but I believe it's head and shoulders above any Team Rocket challenge anyone has ever done. This is the second video on this list that features the fast move glitch, but that takes nothing away from this challenge. A few weeks ago, I attempted to beat Arlo's Mawile lineup with a Spinder and 2 Smeargle using debuffing moves. The challenge ultimately failed because the time ran out. It got me thinking that if I was able to use a spammy moveset that would boost my attack, then maybe I could take on Sierra's whole team with just one Smeargle. Unfortunately, Smeargle doesn't learn Power Up Punch or Fell Stinger, so Night Slash was the only viable option. With the fast move glitch, the fastest Night Slash user was Crawdaunt, with Snarl and Night Slash. I asked a few of my friends to take snapshots of Crawdaunt until I was able to get a lucky one from a trade. After getting a lucky Smeargle, I needed to find the right lineup. The ideal lineup would have been Beldum, Confusion Exeggutor and Confusion Alakazam. With the fast move glitch being included in Niantic's list of known issues with the game, it was only a matter of time before it got fixed. I had found many Confusion Exeggutors, but almost all of them were paired with Houndoom in the back, and none with Alakazam. Against Confusion, you could often squeeze in 3 Snarls between each charge move. Given that each Snarl gains 13 energy, 3 Snarls would give you 39 energy, 4 energy more than what's required to use Night Slash. This essentially allowed you to have infinite energy. Unfortunately, after searching every day for over a week and battling against 80 plus different Sierras, when I finally found an Alakazam in the back, the Exeggutor had Bullet Seed. At most, you could only ever get 2 Snarls between charge moves against Bullet Seed Exeggutor. I did the calculations and worked out that if you started at 100 energy, you could only get 7 Night Slashes in against the Exeggutor before you would run out of energy and get hit with a fast move. With 2 Night Slash boosts prior to facing the Exeggutor, it would still take 7 Night Slashes to beat it, assuming you got 2 Snarls in between each charge move. In practice this didn't happen, as it would often skip a fast move here and there. This meant that I had to fully power up my Smeargle to ensure it had enough bulk to tank one bullet seed after taking on the Beldum. Once I got past the Exeggutor, the Alakazam with Confusion was straightforward, but because I got the second boost so late on, it was now a race against the clock. I finished the challenge with less than 5 seconds to spare. If just one of my videos were to blow up on my channel, I'd hope it to be this one, not only for the challenge itself, but also for the effort I went through to make sure I got it done before the fast move glitch was fixed. If there are any other solos that you feel should have made this list, or if you disagree with the ordering on my list, let me know in the comments. Because I've done so many challenge videos, I've decided I'm going to make a second video involving all non-solo challenge videos. This includes low CP challenges, mock solos using 2 level 1 Pokemon, and all other challenges.